عملت هيدا الهوم وورك.
اوكي.
واليوم ببعته ايميل.
ايه نو
والله
بروبلم. You can submit it late. ما في مشكلة.
انا مجرد ما اشتري الكهرباء برجع بفوت.
Okay. Do you have any other question about anything related to the material or the logistics? إذا عم بتلاحظوا I'm compressing the video replay وعم تاخد معي وقت قبل ما to upload it on a unlisted YouTube entry. Okay. So here you have a link لكل replay. This is session 3 replay. It's a link to a YouTube بس مش public. كنا بالintegration management last time. So do you have any question على اللي سبق؟ No? بنكفي integration management؟
لا انا عندي بس السؤال هذا قبل ما ازيح شوي عن الهوم وورك، انه في عندي اسئله اسالها ليتر، بتصور بعد ما انت تشيك وبيكون افضل. نو
اللي شو عن شو مثلا؟
يعني يعني انا ما حطيت الايتمز اكزاكتلي شو هن، حطيت ليست لايتمز لحالهم، وحطيت الفيزز بيست على انه مثل كايند اوف هيدا شيء جنرال، يعني create project organigram, recruitment process, project design, supply chain plan, procurement request, delivery, implementation phase. هيك رتبتهم وحطيت الديتس تبعهم، كل واحد قد ايه بياخذ، وعملت لهم تشارت
لا this is too much Shadi. This is too much for the charter. هول بالسكجول بلان وبالسكوب مانجمنت بلان وبالكوست مانجمنت بلان بنحطهم. يعني charter should not be as detailed as this. هلا انت بعد ما حطيته تشوفه بس once you do بقول لك. يعني this is مثلا look at this one. مش مطلوب اكثر من هيك. So هيدا حيدر. Okay, general project information. مين السبونسر، مين البروجكت مانجر، مين التيم as we know them so far. Scope statement high level, deliverables high level, milestones high level. That's it. Okay, this is a project charter بس هيدا ناقصه signature. لأنه ناقصه signature رح نعطيه لحيدر 85. لا نعطيه 90 لأنه الديزاين is sexy. نعطيه 90. شو رأيك؟
لا انا بعيد عن هيدا الشيء.
ايه ما
ثانك يو محيتها انا بس ليك. اعطيني ثانيه احط لك سيجنتشر. حاضر.
لا فرصه ضيعتها خلاص. فرصه ضيعتها.
طيب ماشي.
اوكي.
انا بعيد شوي يعني انا ما باخذ هيراني.
لا الشارتر
انا عامل
المشكله الشارتر انه بروجكت مانجرز بيلخبطوا بينه وبين البروجكت بلان. البروجكت شارتر هو بس authorization to kick off a project formally. It's not the project management plan. ما لازم يكون فيه detailed. هلا اذا في milestones انه بدنا نخلص هالستب بهالتاريخ فاين تنحط ككونسترينت او كمايلستون، بس ما بدنا نفوت بالديتيلز تبع سكجول وتبع الفيزز وتبع وات هاف يو. اوكي؟
لا
deal.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's move to. Should I accept anyone? Admit all يا خيي. Actually خليكم شوي معي لأنه مشكلة هيدي كل ما حدا يطلع يفوت to admit. So let me شوي.
جديدة هيدي.
مين الزوم اكسبرت فيكم؟
كلنا تعرفنا على الزوم من ورا الكوينتين.
هاي settings.
Hi Gabby, hi everyone.
هاي عبدو.
بس كونكشن ما بعرف عاطلي، ما بعرف من عند مين اليوم على الاخر.
ويتنج روم. انتوا عم بتروحوا على ويتنج روم اول ما تفوتوا؟
لا انا ما قال لي شيء. انا اول مره فتت ما كان قال لي ادمت. هلا قال لي ادمت.
ما في waiting room.
جابي كان اول شيء يعطينا ويتنج روم بس نعمل كونكت. لو انت بعدك ما فتت بيعطينا بيج غير اللي اعطانا اياها اليوم. هيدي بتضلها براوزنج. قبل لا كان يفوتنا على روم هي مثل الويتنج روم صح. اليوم ما اعطانا هذا الاوبشن، خلينا براوزنج مثل كانه زوم انه بده يفتح. ما ادري من عندهم يعني، بس توداي زوم المشكل من عندهم الا اذا انت مغير شيء بالسيتنج
انا
او
مغير شيء بالسيتنج
to update it.
حتى it is disabled الويتنج روم. شفت؟
هي لكن اعمل لها enable. I think this gonna resolve the issue.
disable شادي هلا waiting admit.
بدك خليها enabled وبدك ترجع تظهر من الصف رجع فوتنا من we can test it.
لا ما كان عندي ميتنج قبلكم هيك كمان.
اوكي
يعني انا فت من الموبايل قد ما بيحملني وقد ما بتحملني القعده بالبيت بلا كهرباء بالشوب.
ايه ما عم لاقي سيتنج. ما عم لاقي شيء سيتنج خاصة بهالشيء. طيب anyway نرجع له. chat box. اوكي ما في شيء بالchat box. Yeah. We developed the project charter. خلصنا أول process اللي هو develop project charter. مظبوط last time. This time we want to start developing the project management plan. This process here. So in this process, slide. This is an integration process. This is إذا بتطلعوا على البازل على الفلو of the PM book. This is on the right corner بالplanning هالبوكس السوداء اللي موجودة بالنص و is collating sticking together all the planning processes together. يلي عم بيصير شو انه كل ما نروح نعدل ببلان whether a schedule plan, whether cost estimate, whether we are estimating durations, whether we are developing resources, كل هيدا التغيير اللي عم بيصير هنيك عم يرجع يكب ب one central process بالintegration management اسمه develop. اسمه مش develop project charter، اسمه develop project management plan. Okay, so outputs from other processes, other planning mainly processes, and executing and monitoring and controlling processes عم يرجعوا يصبوا فيه to update this project management plan as a key output. الproject management plan by analogy إذا أنتو dead wood على أيامي هيدي الصورة أخذها أنا من بيت أهلي. أوكي انسايكلوبيديا بريتانيكا كان وقت اشتريها الوالد اجت مع هيدي الخزانه تبعها واجا من فوليوم 1 لفوليوم 12 وصار كل سنه يطلع ييربوك يجينا الييربوك وكان في معها 3 اطلس واحد اطلس كبير وثلاثه كمان اطلس صغار. Encyclopedia Britannica. So when we say encyclopedia it's the collection of all volumes. كمان وقت نقول project management plan it's also the central document that will define the basis of all your project work, all your project plans, from scope management plan to schedule management plan to cost management plan, quality, resources, communication, risk, all management plans, all baselines, all requirements documentation, all changes, every single bit of document needed on the project is kept in this encyclopedia. Okay, so when we say the project management plan, it's the central repository of the procedures of project management, your approach to managing all the knowledge areas and the process groups, including templates, also including documents. Someone not able to log in. Okay. مشكلة. Who's not able to log in بعد؟ كلكم جوا. Unable to log in. Who's ES? Eli something. Eli. Try now. Try again now. While waiting for Eli, let's keep an eye on the participants. Okay, so it's not the micro. Yeah, admit Eli. Okay, Eli, welcome back. I have to admit you, sorry, for ما بعرف أي reason Zoom عم بيخرف. So it's not project management plan. It's not the project schedule. Okay, يلي بتشوفوه the output of Microsoft project. It's not the Excel file that shows activities and Gantt chart. It's the whole thing. It's the procedures and the schedules and the baselines and the templates. It's the main central repository of how you're going to go about managing your project. So sometimes بتشوفوا project management plan بيطلع schedule. It's not the project management plan according to PM book. To develop a project management plan, key input is the charter. Charter ما جاي معنا من business case charter للproject management plan, and outputs from other processes like any subsidiary plan, okay, that are an output from other planning processes are now input to this process as updates and new stuff. Like إذا طلعنا the new qualitative risk assessment كمان رح يصب هون. إذا طلعنا the risk register رح يصب هون. Okay? So changes to these documents may necessitate updates to this central repository. And all EEFs and OPAs are inputs. To develop the project charter, some of the tools and techniques are expert judgment and meetings, which are تقريباً omnipresent, data gathering techniques, and interpersonal and team skills. بيطلع عنا a single output called project management plan. It's the Encyclopedia Britannica. فيها change management plan, communication management plan, configuration management plan, cost baseline, cost management plan, scope baseline, quality plan, etc. So includes also how we are going to approach the project, يعني شو life cycle اللي اعتمدناه, whether adaptive or adaptive or predictive or agile or hybrid, etc. to apply in each phase. كل phase شو فيها activities, شو فيها outputs, وفيها how-tos of the knowledge areas. And this is a place to integrate and consolidate all the subsidiary management plans, the baselines, the documents, and additional components. Build, direct, and manage project work. You mean the definition is from Britannica? No, it's I'm comparing the project management plan. So somebody asked, do you mean definition is from the Encyclopedia Britannica? No, I'm trying to give an analogy between the Encyclopedia Britannica, where you have volumes, you have subsidiary volumes and books, مثل الproject management plan, where you have subsidiary plans and additional documentation. Direct and manage the project work is also the umbrella of everything to be executed, i.e. following a specific plan. So the key inputs are the project management plan, subsidiary plan, and any component of the project planning process. Question: with respect to change, what is most important for a project manager to focus attention on? Do the change, track and record the change, prevent uncontrolled change, or inform project sponsor of the change? Type in the chat box. Type in the chat box the correct answer.
Sorry, can you share the code with me again, please?
لا ما في كود. It's not Mentimeter هون. It's just a slide. So حدا عم بيقول A, حدا عم بيقول C, حدا عم بيقول D, حدا عم بيقول B, and all your answers are correct. بس السؤال شو عم بيقول؟ What is the most important thing to do first? So هون first thing to do is the hidden keyword. Whenever there's a change, وهون بيجي like شي 10 questions ب different scenarios بس كلهم بهيدا إذا بدكم المعنى إنه what thing should you do first when there's a change? The first thing that you should do is to assess the impact of the change. So in our case, do the change? لا, but we did not assess the impact. Track and record the change? Not yet. Prevent uncontrolled change is the first thing that you should do. If you have a change, you track and record it, you inform the sponsor, and then you do the change. So by chronologically. So the most important thing to do when you have a change is to prevent uncontrolled change. Okay? So C is the responsibility of the project management team to proactively manage the project, thus eliminating uncontrolled changes to scope, schedule, cost, quality, etc. This includes preventing these changes from occurring. Direct and manage project work introduction. Gathering the work performance data. قلنا في work performance data, في work performance reports, في work performance information. So بالexecution قلنا we collect the work performance data always. Monitoring and controlling, we turn these into information and then we present them in the form of reports. So gathering data, requesting changes, and completing the work is happening in this process. It's a pure project management process, resulting from any approved change request coming along from another process called perform integrated change control. So any planned activity or approved change on a planned activity is being executed here. Also, managing stakeholders and keeping them engaged is happening here. Requesting changes, implementing approved changes, training your staff, your team members, obtaining, managing, using the physical resources, managing sellers and the relationship with sellers and suppliers, collecting and documenting lessons learned to keep them in your knowledge base for future project managers, and implementing approved process improvement opportunities. So these are the key activities that are happening in this integration process. I need the project management plan and all its subsidiary plans. I need the project documents like the change log, lessons learned, milestones list, schedule. I need the approved change requests يلي اجوا من another process called perform integrated change control, and these were approved by a function or a committee called change control board اللي حنشوفها next, and all EEFs and OPAs that are related. Tools and techniques, expert judgment to meetings, always present, and your project management information system where you document the work done, where you document your changes, you document your issues, and you mark activities as completed or in progress. Deliverables, any unique and verifiable tangible product or result are output here. Work performance data like work completed, percentage of work completed, key performance indicators, technical performance measures, actual start and actual finish dates of scheduled activities, number of change requests so far, number of defects, number of repairs, actual costs, actual durations. All of these are examples of data that are generated in this process. Issue log is also updated. نحن وعم نشتغل رح يطلع معنا issues. To document them, we document them in the issue log. رح يطلع change requests whether to correct something or to prevent something from happening or to repair a specific defect as an outcome of our project activities. ورح يطلع updates على ال project management plan and project documents. So to put it all together, direct and manage project work, الانبوت تبعه يعني project plans and subsidiary plans and project documents, approved changes from the integrated, perform integrated change control, outputs, new change requests, deliverables, work performance data, implemented the previously approved change requests, and updates to the project management plan and the project documents. Common sense, logic, ما في شيء جديد, right? في شيء جديد فيه? This is project management. You take the plans, you follow them, you execute, you deliver deliverables, you deliver data, and you make sure the changes that have been requested and approved are now delivered, implemented, and delivered. And any update to a specific plan or document, you go and update it. في شيء جديد هون؟ While we are executing the work, رح يطلع معنا knowledge. We are to keep this knowledge, lessons learned, for future projects and future project managers to make use of. So it's a process that we should be following. هالknowledge فيها تكون explicit knowledge in the form of words, pictures, numbers, graphs, etc. that is easily documented and shared. But usually this lacks the context. Okay, this is why if you are reading, you know, slides, PowerPoint slides, إذا بعطيكم أنا هلا هول slides and you read them, will you make sense مثل ما إنه يكون في واحد عم يعطيكم وعم يعطي examples from experience وعم بيحطهم بcontext? No. So this is the explicit kind of knowledge transfer. The tacit is where you deliver this knowledge with belief, with insights, with examples, with experience, with know-how, with showing you, okay? And these are shared through conversations and interactions. So it's kind of a on-the-job training, okay? Also the tacit. And knowledge management is about making sure those skills, the experience, and if you want, the expertise are being transferred, used, and transferred during and after the project for this project and for other projects to come in your organization. And to create an atmosphere of trust so that people are motivated to share this knowledge and to pay attention whenever something to be learned, to pay attention. To manage project knowledge, the inputs are the project management plan, project documents, deliverables, culture, geographical distribution of facilities and resources, knowledge brokers or knowledge experts. كان PwC في role اسمه knowledge broker بكل territory وشغلته يأمن الknowledge will easy reach for a specific knowledge in the global PwC network. كنا نسميهم knowledge brokers. Legal, regulatory requirements, all of these are EEFs. OPAs, like the policies and procedures, like the formal knowledge sharing procedures, the repository of lessons learned, all of these are inputs. Tools and techniques, knowledge management and information management, and interpersonal and team skills, to be able to communicate, to be able to train, to coach, to mentor, to take someone on board and teach them, okay? So knowledge management techniques could be delivered through networking, you learn, through communities of practice, through forums, industry forums, through meetings, you learn new stuff, through shadowing someone else, an expert or someone that knows, through discussion forums, focus groups, attending seminars, conferences, workshops, courses. كان عندنا computer based training CDs كنا نوزعهم على كل new joiner ب PwC and they have to follow them. يعني بدل ما كانوا يكونوا online كانوا على CDs and they have to follow, and they have to accumulate a certain number of hours in them so that they will be moved to the next grade in the PwC grading system. Workshops, storytelling, creative management techniques, trainings in all its forms, electronic training, classroom training, one-on-one coaching, okay? رح يطلع lessons learned, register, update عليه, and this is the core repository of every questions to be asked. يعني imagine you have a Google or you have an Ask Me repository where anything you would be able to search because someone has documented this previously. مثلا, how to develop a project charter for an NGO, kaza, kaza, kaza. Boom, you have it because someone has already documented this in the lessons learned repository or register. Project management plan updates and OPA's updates because we've learned something new. We've learned to improve a process or a procedure because we've seen that there should be a control there, or to improve on the timing of a specific activity. We go and we update the existing policies and procedures in the organization. So as a result, OPAs are updated. Monitor and control project work. Any monitoring and controlling process under the monitoring and controlling process groups عم بيصير نفس الشيء irrespective of the knowledge area, whether you are monitoring and controlling time or scope or quality or resources or risk or what have you. كلهم لاحقين هيدا الامبريلا monitor and control process اسمه monitor and control project work. It's the umbrella MNC process. يلي شو عم بيصير فيه؟ We are monitoring measurements. We are making sure we are following a specific course of action. If you have variations and discrepancies, we are identifying those and taking or issuing a change request to هالvariance to put it back on track. كله نفس الشيء عم بيصير فيه. Okay? So إذا بنقسمه monitoring و controlling. بالmonitoring we are collecting, measuring and distributing information. تنشوف إذا بعدنا ماشيين against the plans, against all plans, against the scope and the requirements, against the schedule and time, against the cost and budget, against the quality requirements اللي انحطت. في تغيير نعمله بالcontrol. Control includes determining any corrective or preventive action that should be taken care of on action plans to determine whether actions should be taken to resolve any performance issue, any variance, any discrepancy. And this is basically where we are comparing what was actually forecasted or planned to be delivered against what was actually delivered. هديك المفروض نعملها بجمعتين، عملناها بأربع تجميع. في 2 weeks of variances, negative variances. We need to take corrective action. We need to crash, we need to the schedule, we need to optimize the schedule. رح نشوفها بعدين. We have a discrepancy in managing risk. We failed on assessing risks every month. ليه ما عم نعملها؟ Go and take a corrective action. We failed on meeting as of today the set budget. We have a cost performance index of 0.6, which means it's not good. We need to take corrective action when it comes to the budget. Okay, so all of these variances are being controlled and actions taken in monitoring and controlling the project work. And it's done from initiating through closing. It's the cycle and the umbrella process governing any corrective actions that need to be taken on the project. In short, it is about comparing the actual performance versus the planned performance. To monitor and control the project work, I need the project management plan because I'm monitoring against it. Okay? I need the project documents. I need work performance information. Example, the status of my deliverables. The implementation status of my change requests. أيهم منهم خلصت. أي change request بعده pending. أي change request انعمل أكثر من مرة. Any forecast, any estimate to complete, all of these, any estimate at completion, any key performance indicator are input. Agreements here also. I'm comparing to agreement what was supposed to be delivered under this agreement. Validated changes. Any approved change يلي جاي من البروسيس اسمه perform integrated change control is verified here. Okay, that the change was actually executed like the change requested. And all EEFs and OPAs related to monitoring and controlling the project work. Tools and techniques, I can bring an expert. This is why in the contracting world, they might bring a quality manager or a consultant to supervise what was to be delivered and what was actually delivered. So this is the expert judgment technique. Data analysis, decision-making techniques to take corrective actions or not. And we can do the whole thing, the whole review of variances and tracking through meetings. So these are the techniques and tools to be followed. Data analysis that we mentioned, رح نشوفهم later on in later chapters. But you're gonna hear about them a lot. Alternative analysis. We did something wrong. What alternatives do we have? Let's analyze our alternatives. Cost benefit analysis. Earned value analysis. We're gonna see this in details in the cost management process. Root cause analysis, or also called Ishikawa or fishbone analysis. We have a problem اللي هو الfish head. الbones هن ال possible root causes of that problem. It's a neat analysis that you need to learn. Trend analysis, variance analysis, all of these we'll be seeing later on in different chapters. Let me check the chat box. Fishbone, 4Ps, people, procedure, PS. Lubna, Sukna, what do you mean 4PS?
Actually, in the root cause analysis, we've been taught that in the public health program, how to tackle a problem. And the professor explained that always think about 4 P's: people, procedure, place, and the last one is maybe price. Whenever you have a problem, it may be one of these P's.
All the 4 P's
in
of
public
marketing.
health.
All the 4 P's of marketing.
Yeah, and even in public health, they taught us that العظمة العريضة اللي بالفش واللي بيطلع منها حسكات صغار كانوا يحطوا لنا اياها بيز يعني بي.
Okay, so بتوزع منها 4 branches.
Yeah.
It's another technique for root cause analysis.
Yeah.
And the variation of this. Excellent.
بس مش سامعة بالباقيين. This is the only one that I have يعني in my experience يعني I was exposed to.
It's amazing what you can use. أنا عندي كان client وحطينا له sales target للموظفين تبعه للسيلز فورس. And after 3 months they did not meet the targets. So خلينا نعمل root cause analysis معهم. So خلينا نعزمهم على meeting. عزمناهم على meeting وحطينا الفيش بون هي not meeting the targets. And we started brainstorming معهم. What happened? Why did not reach the targets? And some of the root causes were surprises to the owner. إنه طلعوا بها السيشن وما كان عارف فيهم هو قبل. So that was great.
Great. في دكتور عادل علاء مرة علمنا إياها كمان للروت كوز أناليسيس بالدبلومة اللي عملناها بالكواليتي كنترول، بس قديم كتير يعني مش 4 سنين عملتها ما كتير مذكرة.
هلا رح نشوفها later on. It's basic.
فيها. But it's interesting يعني بتنظم الأفكار كتير. As you said يعني you discover things.
100%. Outputs to monitor and control project work are change requests. لأنه في variances, لأنه we need to adjust the project back to the scope baseline and back to the quality requirements and back to the schedule baseline and to the budget, we need to issue a change request. Any change specifically على scope, cost, will schedule necessitate a change request. okay لانه those are the triple constraints. Work performance reports, example عم يطلع هون status reports, memos, justification reports, recommendations, updates, etc. عم يطلع updates على ال project management plan like the scope management plan, عم يطلع updates على requirements, documentation, على schedule, على cost, quality management plan, etc. and the 3 baselines. Okay, لكن لهلا صرنا كثير سامعين كلمة baseline. And all you need to know right now, رح نشوفهم in details شو يعني baselines, بس we have 3 baselines in the PM book. The scope baseline يلي فيها scope statement, WBS و WBS dictionary, schedule baseline, and the cost baseline. Cost baseline هي ال approved budget, و schedule baseline هي ال approved timeline of executing the work. رح نشوفهم in details. But everything will be monitored against those baselines, okay? بيطلع كمان updates على schedule and cost forecasts إذا في updates على lessons learned and updates على risk register. مثلا هيدا الريسك ما بقى معقول يصير أو هيدا الريسك تحقق صار issue. We update the risk register and we update the issue log with this specific issue. شو الفرق بين risk و issue, if I may ask?
I think issue is something already happened. The risk is something forecasted.
Yes, a risk is what can go wrong. An issue is something went wrong actually. Okay, some of the issues, they could result from an identified risk. Other issues فيهم يجوا هيك. So summary of the monitor and control project work process. We use data analysis techniques to compare the project management plan to the actual progress. We compile results in work performance reports. If the progress is not within the expectations or the standard course of action, change requests will go to a process called Perform Integrated Change Control for approval by the Change Control Board to bring back the performance in line with the initial plans and baselines. These changes should be reflected as updates to the project management plan and project documents. Can I take more than one schedule baseline or cost baseline or scope baseline? ولا هالشي بنزل ما مفروض بقى يتغير؟
لا طبيعي فينا ناخد في يتغير بلا
100%. البيزلاينز فيهم يتغيروا اذا في major changes. I can update the scope, cost and schedule baselines accordingly. The most referred to process is called Perform Integrated Change Control. Whenever I have a change that has been requested, it goes here to be accepted, rejected, or postponed. So this is where we review all change requests and their related modifications and impact on the project, documents, deliverables, baselines, etc. And we either approve, reject, or postpone the change.
جابي
Yes.
سؤال if we reject شو البروسيس؟
شو يعني شو البروسيس؟ شو البروسيس يعني the how. نرجع
the how.
نرجع بنقول PM book ما بيقول لكم the how. بيقول لكم انتم you have your own approach, you have your own process, but you need to have a change control board. This is the what. You need to formally approve changes or reject them. This is the what. How to approve them, whether you're doing it through SharePoint in an automated manner, whether you are hosting a committee every 2 weeks, whether you are sending the requests on a piece of paper or what have you, it's up to you. ما بفوت بالهاو. اوكي؟ هلا بقول لك انا كيف عملتها بالبنك عملتها on EPM SharePoint. So every request will go through a series of approvals. بيروح عند ال process owner, he approves it, بيطلع عند ال AGM approves it, تنزل عند ال project manager for notification انه it was approved. other changes by type will go to a steering committee بيكونوا المembers محطوطين فيها. If one member of the steering committee did not approve it, it will not be approved. It will necessitate a meeting. So the procedure of approving the change, it's up to you to decide in your practice, in your organization. Did I answer you?
Thank you, yes.
حاضرين 12 Angry Men, the classic movie بال60s.
شو اسمه؟
12 Angry Men.
انا ما بعرف حاجه لا.
This movie 57 بس it's a classic movie. بتصير محاكمه وهيدي الجوري، هول الناس اللي شايفينهم هن الجوري، وكل الفيلم بهالاوضه. اوكي؟ and this guy نسيت شو اسمه الممثل، وهن كلهم شوب، محل ما هن وبدهم يفلوا مش ماشيين، الفنتيليشن مش ماشيه وبدهم يخلصوا، كلهم they vote guilty except this person not guilty. اوكي؟ سو كل الفيلم بتدور احداثه كيف واحد ورا الثاني بيرجع بيصير يغير رايه، بيصير عم بيقول not guilty. Okay? So change control board is like, it's like the 12 angry men in the movie, which means you have a board or you have a committee or you have a jury, whatever we are going to call it. Let's call it change control board according to PM book. And this change control board في يكون one member اللي هو يمكن sponsor او الكلاينت or representative عنه، او في يكون 12 angry men that are taking this voting decision. But you as a project manager should not have a voting decision. You can be part of the change control board, but you cannot decide. Yani you cannot request a change and to approve it. Okay? So you have a non-voting member to approve. You have a non-voting, you are a non-voting member and you cannot approve a change. Go ahead. But you should explain the change, you should explain the impact of the change, should course of action that you are recommending as the project manager, and to convince them, these guys, will change, to approve it. كان حدا عنده سؤال؟ No? So, yeah. ما حدا عنده سؤال. If you don't have any question, please mute yourself لأنه عم حس إنه في حدا عم يحكي. So the change control board includes the project manager, the customer, or might include the customer, the sponsor, experts, functional managers, other stakeholders. Your role as a project manager is only to facilitate and not to decide. To facilitate the recommended course of action. The change control board is responsible for reviewing and analyzing the change requests and their impact on time, budget, quality, cost, etc., and either approve or postpone or reject the change. The results are documented in the project change log. So change request ببلش هنيك والchange request بيخلص هنيك as pending, approved, implemented, status تبعه بغير. Quiz. Resources no longer available. This is a typical exam question where you have a scenario وعم يسألوك what you should do. In the middle of a project, you are informed that resources promised to you at the beginning are no longer available. As a project manager, what should you do? شو الكلمة الناقصة? What should you do? First.
Next.
First.
I'm a first.
First. لأنه all answers are correct answers. You can raise a concern that you can no longer execute the project. You can evaluate the impact. You can move forward without the promised resource. You can identify other resources in lieu. All potential solutions are valid. But what should you do first? So chat room, chat box, I guess you guessed it. The first thing that you do when you have a change, بيجي عليها شي 15 سؤال، شي 12 سؤال، شي 10 أسئلة. Same thing. First, you assess the impact. Then, you see what you need to do. بلكي ما عليها impact. بلكي it has no impact. Why should you go and find other resources? إذا she will not impact your project. So you might consider doing all of the mentioned options, but the first thing to do is to evaluate the impact. Then you raise a concern. Is a fee impact? Then option A, you move without the promised resource. Option B, you identify other resources. Okay?
جابي هون بس عم نحكي عن resources مش عم نحكي بس عن financial resources.
From that resources promised to you, في يكونوا physical resources, machinery, equipment.
Machineries, okay.
Financial, ما من finance ما بنسميه resource PMP. Okay? It's a funding, it's cost, it's funding the project. It's not resource. Resource is يا human resource, consultants, teams, كذا, يا material, يا equipment, يا raw material, يا كذا. According to Rita Malkahi, this is from Rita Malkahi as a summary of her process of making changes. As if you read it in her book, بتقول you should follow these steps by order of chronologically. First, you prevent root causes of any change. Yani you are proactively reducing the potential request of changes. Then you identify change, and change is inevitable. Okay, change and risks and issues are bound to happen on your project. So you identify them. And if you discover them early on, it will reduce the impact, because as we saw, the cost of change as you progress in the project becomes higher. أخذنا example التاور إنه بدنا نطلع ب 20 طابق بدل 10 طوابق. Evaluate third the impact first. Then you create a change request. Then you identify options. It can include cutting activities, compressing the schedule, looking at other options, sourcing, outsourcing, etc. 6, get the change request approved. إذا أنت برأيك you need the change or you don't need the change, you need to create a change request. Okay. 7, you update the status in the change log, open, pending, etc. Then you get customer buy-in if you have an external customer or an internal customer. Then you update the project management plan, documents, baselines as necessary, and then you communicate the change to the stakeholders. First, you prevent root causes, then you evaluate the impact, then you follow through the process of documenting and getting approvals and informing stakeholders. Okay?
في يكون positive change يعني
Yes,
does
yes.
not impact directly ده.
Yes, الامباكت تبعه positive في يكون. Yes. وبالريسك مانجمنت رح نشوف في negative risks و positive risks. Negative risks are called threats with negative impact. Positive risks are called opportunities and they have positive impact, and you should exploit those positive risks.
بس in case انه صار في positive change كمان بدنا نرجع نفوت ببروسيجر كمان to create a change request كمان.
Yes, ما في شيء اسمه positive change، في شيء اسمه change with a positive impact. Yeah, ثابت عنده positive impact.
Okay.
So you should document it. To perform integrated change control, I need the project management plan, I need the project documents, I need work performance reports. Like, for example, resource availability. طلع لي إنه for some reason resources are not available. I need to do a change request. Schedule, cost data, reports, etc. The change request itself, for it to be approved or not, in a form or on a piece of paper or in an email or in your automated project management information system. Legal restrictions, constraints, your project management information system where the change could be initiated there. Change control procedures, configuration management knowledge base, etc. Tools and techniques to perform integrated change control. Expert judgment to meetings, always present. Data analysis. In the form here, specifically as alternative analysis, we have a problem, we have a change. Okay, what alternatives do we have? The resources are not available. Shall we buy grade B of the resources? Shall we outsource? Shall we postpone? Shall we reduce, etc.? So what are our alternatives? And cost-benefit analysis of every alternative. The change control tools could be here manual or automated tools, and they will help in booking and managing the change requests and documenting the result, the decisions. And of course, these is again automated. They will help in communicating the changes and the results in a seamless manner. Akid decision-making techniques are needed to take a decision to approve or to reject or to postpone a change. بيطلع approved change requests that will be implemented by the process اللي شفناه قبل direct and manage project work. تتذكروا؟ هونيك شو قلنا الانبوت تبعه؟ approved change requests. perform integrated change control. شو قلنا الاوتبوت تبعه؟ approved change requests عم بيروحوا على direct and manage project work. نرجعوا على البازل هيدا اللي قدامكم ال A3 لازم دائما يكون قدامكم جايز نحن وعم نحكي. اوكي؟ فتشوفوا الفلو. So any approved change request بده يرجع على direct and manage project work for it to be executed. Once it is executed نرجع على وين؟ على monitoring and controlling project work to make sure if the approved change request was actually implemented. So عم نركب البازل هلا. اوكي؟
طيب جابي سؤال.
Yes.
انا اليوم بدي ابروف ايفن اذا كان تشينج انه عنده بوزيتيف او نيجاتيف امباكت، في يكون انا اذا عندي ابروفل بري ابروفل او من قبل كل شيء بوزيتيف امباكت ما ارجع اطلع الكوميتي، واذا عندي نيجاتيف امباكت مضطر اطلع كوميتي. معقوله؟
بالبروجكت مانجمنت بلان بده يكون هالشيء دوكيومنتد انه changes of this nature with impact هالقد دولار هالقد وقت هالقد كذا won't necessitate مثلا the decision of the change control board. Changes of this nature will necessitate issuing or sending a change request. Whatever هيدا, you should be documenting it in your change management plan if you want.
Thank you.
Okay. And project document updates, mainly the change log is updated here, and updates to the project management plan because probably we failed on doing the proper estimates. We're not using proper estimating procedures. So we go and we update the estimate cost, estimate durations in the schedule management plan and in the cost management plan. Close project or phase. It's the process of finalizing all activities to formally complete the project or phase. If you are closing a phase or the project in general. It's a formal ending of the project work, whether stopped, terminated, or completed. It involves getting the final formal acceptance of the project or the phase. And this is where the phase resources or the project team is released. برأيكم شو بيسبقها؟ أي process مجبور يسبقها. Assuming we have at least one deliverable in the phase. أي process مفروض يسبق at least once this process.
Controlling, quality controlling.
Excellent. في process اسمه control quality. من بعده شو؟ يعني بين الكنترول quality والclose phase أي process بيناتهم فيه؟ Control quality is done internally with the project team to make sure errors are not in the product or the project process. مظبوط؟ طيب أي process من ميلة الكلاينت عم يمنع الغلط إنه deliverable is accurate, complete, against the requirements ومظبوط؟
The acceptance.
Exactly. The acceptance. It's called validate scope. So first we do control quality to make sure there are no errors internally. Then we move to validate scope. ياخدوا الكلاينت and to formally accept it. Then we close project or phase. عم يركب البازل. Okay? Input to close project or phase. Charter. All project management plans, subsidiary plans, documents, accepted deliverables. لأنه بدي أتأكد إنه عندي كان بهالفيز 5 deliverables. Are the 5 deliverables approved؟ مرقنا 5 مرات بالvalidate scope أو مرقنا مرة واحدة to approve all 5 deliverables. Yes. في sign off. Okay, let's close the project or phase. Business documents. Business case, benefit management plan. Did we realize the benefit up to this stage? Or did the project realize the benefits promised early on in the benefit management plan? Agreements. We are going to compare against the agreement what was supposed to be delivered in this phase. If all is delivered and we're happy with the vendor or the agreement clause, then yes, it's an input and we close the project or phase. Procurement documentation, كمان. And OPAs. Your PMO can provide you with closure guidelines or requirements, checklists to be filled, closing meetings to be done and documented, invoices to be printed. Configuration management knowledge base also is an input. يعني وين كنا بالconfiguration وبعد البروجكت وين صرنا بالconfiguration of the organization. Whether this configuration is a procedure manual version or a software version. Okay. Tools and techniques. Experts here are your management control committee, your audit team, your legal and procurement department, legislation and regulation, your consultant representative. Data analysis in the form of document analysis. خليني أشوف documentation and let me tick what was delivered, what was not before closing the project or phase. Regression analysis. برجع لورا شوف إذا تسلمت ولا لا. Trend analysis, variance analysis against the plans. Okay, and based on these data analysis techniques, expert judgment, meetings. بالmeetings I might نحن كنا عندنا بPwC شيء اسمه closure meeting where we reprinted the whole إذا بدكم consulting work with the invoice on top, and we hold a formal closure meeting so that the stakeholders and the client will know that the project is coming to an end, and this is what we've implemented and we've changed in the business, and we leave a sale pitch for the next step. So إذا كان عندنا الjob was to recommend, كنا we used to pitch for the implementation of the transformational change. Outputs بيطلع project document updates, بيطلع final or intermediate product, service or result. Final is a project, intermediate is a phase. بيطلع final report إذا في final report. بيطلع updates على project files, whether on SharePoint or in a box manual system, box files manual system. Operational and support documentation, closure documents, sign-offs, and lessons learned. Any questions? ناخد break 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.